So now we can solo just all the drums, now that they're balanced with each other, and I'll turn on some of the settings that are on my drum masters. I got my drum auxes here at the top. I have two, so I'm doing some parallel compression kind of things and whatnot. My main aux is generally clean with just a little bit of compression. I have a distressor I'll massage in there. FG Bomber sometimes I'll throw in there too, just for some extra color, and Revival as well. So I love the distressor. I was really excited when Slate released the FG Stress because I've used the distressor since almost the day I started recording music. So I'm comfortable with it. I know the sound of it. It's familiar to me. And the plugin version's no exception. I actually almost never turn on my distressor anymore because it's so much easier to use the plugin. Now, my sounds are so kind of compressed sounding to an extent that I don't do a lot of compression on my master bus. It just can go overboard fast. So I'm just giving a little touch to kind of push things up to the front a little bit. I'll try massaging this FG Bomber. This is something new that I haven't always been doing, but I did at least on this mix, and I thought it was kind of cool. I love to throw it on this fat setting. I'll bring it down to 0, maybe drive it just a little bit, like 3 dB or something. And I'll just work this intensity up and see what it's doing. Mm-hmm. Let me bypass it for a second and see what it's like without it. Like a little bit extra low end compression or something. I can't. It's hard to me. Yeah, exactly. It's again. I always say this is like one of the voodoo plugins because I don't know exactly what it's doing or what it's replicating, but it works. And you'll see me just use this plugin the same way, where I'll flick through the present, the fat, and the tight setting, and then just drive the intensity and scale it back and find almost a point where I can't tell if it's doing anything until I take it away. Mm-hmm. And then I realized it was doing something cool. Shimmer and thickness, the same thing. I'm just going to use a little bit of both. That might be something we massage more later as the mix unfolds, but right now it seems to help. I got a drum distortion bus. This is kind of color and distortion. I can send all my drums there, usually just all my shells, and just get a little bit of extra something on the bottom. It's probably kind of clipping and just doing some dirty kind of stuff to it. It's something that sometimes you don't even almost hear, but I'll work it up just enough that when I mute it, you can tell it's not there.
Very cool. So you're parallel processing with not only the drum aux, right?
Yes.
But you're also parallel processing with this drum distortion.
Yes. And depending on the song, will depend on how aggressively or how much I use that setting. There is a lot of color to some of the sounds I used already in this, so I find in this particular mix, I'm maybe not using it as extremely as I might normally on something maybe much cleaner that I need to get dirtier. Mm-hmm. But I still leave it up there anyway. And to achieve that, I'm using a whole bunch of things here. Of course, there's the new Kilohertz Snap Heap plugin, which I'm got a bunch of things going on in there. We can go over that setting kind of a little bit later. But really, it's just overdrive, saturation, compression, some filters. So you can see just sending a snare track through there. It kind of sounds like it's coming through a little bit of a crappy toy speaker. It's I like color. I like just to make things, add depth and texture to things, and that usually to me doesn't mean making things prettier or neater. It means making things more obstructive in a good way. So That's something I like to do a lot. I got a little bit of extra filtering going on with the Air EQ, and using some VMR Revival again as well as the Fatterator, which I like. And I'm not even using the driver, the fuzz, just the color and the sort of stereo effect of it, and that kind of spreads it out a little bit. So it adds a little more space and depth even once I work it in there. It makes the sounds a little less mono and a little more explosive across the stereo field.
That's a great use for it. So that's kind of your drum distortion chain. Is that usually kind of where you're starting out?
Yep. And there are times where I don't need the drum distortion chain at all, and there's times where I'm like just slamming it. Sometimes what I like to do is automate it up just on a drum fill. Maybe if especially the drum fill's like on its own, naked in a hole or something like that, and it kind of just adds some extra smack and explosiveness to the fill.
Awesome.
I'm gonna turn it all the way down and work that in. It's like it just adds a cool little extra saturation or something. Not everybody would like that kind of stuff in their mix, but I think for rock mixes, metal mixes, things that just need to feel more aggressive, it's a really cool trick. So now we can see. I mean, that's no EQ at this point. No, other than my master bus compression, no specific things on any of the individual tracks, and it already feels pretty even and good to me and punchy.
Yeah. This course is available in the Slate Digital All Access Pass, which gives you thousands of dollars worth of award-winning plugins, the industry's most game-changing synthesizer, Anna 2, and the very best Masterclass production courses taught by the industry's biggest pros, all for $14.99 per month.